Today, dear Board and Fire viewers, I did not find anything special about the semi-final match of the Grand Prix Championship, so I decided to present to you a beautiful match for chess legend in the 80s and 90s of the last century, Garry Kasparov. This match was played in the Swift Blitz Chess Championship in 1987, and his opponent was Ljubojevic, who played the black pieces. The match was played in the 24th and final round of the tournament, which Kasparov won, while Ljubojevic ranked 4th. Now to the match analysis, where Kasparov started the match with d4, g6, e4, bishop g7, c6, d6, bishop g5, knight d2, h6, bishop h4, c6. Now Kasparov played f4, to prevent black from playing e5 as it is an offensive move, making it easier to open the file. For white after castling, queen c7 increases its pressure on the e5 box. Bishop d3, e5 as expected. F captures pawn to open the file to use in the attack afterwards. Pawn captures pawn. Knight f3. Pawn captures pawn. Pawn captures pawn. Castling. Castling. Bishop e6. Queen e1. Knight d7. e5 takes advantage of middle pawn, and works as a pawn ahead of one of them. Knight d5 takes advantage of the pawn's progress and the square is free of any threat. Now that knight is dangerous, there is no way to expel him. Knight e4 threatening to move knight d6, how difficult it is to plan a knight in the 6th rank with the protection of a pawn, especially if the player is Kasparov. In my opinion he is the greatest to use the knights in history. Queen b6 fork. Queen f2 to defend the two threatening pawns, and to exploit the open file. Black develops his attack with knight f4, threatening the bishop. Bishop b1. Bishop c4 threatens the rook and forces him to leave the open file. Rook e1. Knight d3 forces Kasparov to trade the bishop with the knight to escape from the fork. Knight d6 finally, after a series of fierce attack of the black that resulted in nothing, he implements his idea by placing his knight in the 6th rank. g5 to expel the bishop. Bishop g3. Now this bishop is weak, will Kasparov allow it? Bishop g6. h4 trying to open the diagonal again to the bishop. g5 threatening the knight. Knight h2. h5. Knight f1 to activate his knight. c5 to attack the advanced pawn base. Knight f3 seems to have left the pawn, but it is a small price in exchange for activating his knight, as Kasparov is the emperor of exploiting the two knights. Pawn captures pawn. Knight d5, threatening the queen. Queen c5 to keep his pawn defending. Knight e7 check. For you to imagine, my friend, that the knight who threatens the king, now 5 moves ago, was threatened on f3. King h7. Rook c1. Queen a5. Queen captures pawn. He regains his pawn with a sweeping attack. The search engine here suggests queen b6 to get trade with Kasparov's dangerous queen, but he played queen captures pawn. Knight e4. Rook d8 is threatening a discovering attack. Knight g5 check. King h8. Rook d1 is now tied up, so if it moves, Kasparov will win by sacrificing queen captures rook. Rook captures queen. Rook captures rook check. Bishop f8. Rook captures bishop check. Then he wins the 5 moves, as you can all see. So here the black played bishop c2. Rook d2. Bishop g6. Queen d6. The threat is now a knight capturing bishop, then winning pawn and threatening to checkmate is no solution. So play bishop h7. Rook n1. Queen a5. Now black knows that his greed in taking the pawn made his queen out of the match. King h1 to escape from any threat with a future bag that hinders his attack. Bishop g8. Bishop leaving the diagonal is the first mistake, and with Kasparov the first mistake is the last. My friend and a friend of the Board and Fire channel, you can pause the video for a moment to look for the winning move. Yes, dear viewers, the move is queen g6. Now if Ljubojevic accepts the sacrifice, he loses the match by 1 move. Knight captures pawn checkmate. As for search engine move queen a6, it prolongs the match a little, as Kasparov responds with the move rook d6. As usual, search engines make some sacrifices that do not change the inevitable, but prolong the game a little. The greatness of that ending is not that Kasparov found it, but that he found it with only 30 seconds of thought. The match is over, and we publish the tournament rankings for you after its end. We hope that our analysis has satisfied you. Please do not forget to press the like button, and subscribe to the channel to wait for the